Continuing our theme of optimizing asset location, we'll now hear from Lisa Tunnell at RES. Her topic is a little similar to Jenna's presentation with RPS. However, Lisa will discuss the considerations when placing solar power farms and how RES is extending the ArcGIS platform through innovative customization. Over to you, Lisa.
Thanks, Alessandra. My name is Lisa Tunnell. I'm the Global GIS Solutions Architect for RES Group Ltd. And today I want to talk a little bit about location strategy and how we leverage our ArcGIS portal for solar site selection. So who is RES Group? Well, the RES in RES Group is short for Renewable Energy Systems. We provide utility-scale renewable energy services to multiple countries throughout the world. We develop, construct, and operate wind, solar, storage, and transmission and distribution services. We have over 39 years of experience, over 3,000 employees, and our portfolio includes 19 gigawatts of wind, solar, and storage projects. We also continue to maintain 7 gigawatts of our supported assets, and we're one of the leaders in battery storage projects throughout the world at 337 megawatts. Around the globe, we have 3 ArcGIS enterprise deployments and multiple users of ArcGIS Pro, Collector, and other Esri softwares. So why ArcGIS Portal? Well, the solution I'm going to show today uses Web App Builder in Portal. Web App Builder is included with ArcGIS Enterprise and provides a very easy way to create web user interfaces for users. This allows us to target specific user groups. We can use either the out-of-the-box widgets that Web App Builder supplies or create custom tools in widgets. If a out-of-the-box widget isn't available that we want to use, we can actually go online and find new widgets. There's a lot of people who actually have created widgets that we can use. If that doesn't fit our needs, we can also create brand new widgets just using the JavaScript API. In addition, Portal allows us to provide our users with the right data every time. What I mean by that is before using ArcGIS Enterprise, we were doing what many people were doing, and we had data on our network drive or a C drive in multiple formats like KMZ or CSVs or shapefiles. We would copy the data, it'd get lost or altered, and it just wasn't a good system. ArcGIS Portal is a distributed system that uses web services. These services can be shared real-time in a multitude of different software formats. We use web services in Portal, ArcGIS Pro, Collector, Power BI, Excel, PowerPoint, and we're looking into using the ArcGIS for AutoCAD plugin so that we can work with our engineers a lot closer. My demonstration today is going to showcase 2 custom tools that we have developed for use with Web App Builder. I want to briefly highlight and explain these tools. So the first tool that I would like to highlight is our Buildable Area widget. This widget allows us to clip out constraints out of a specific area that we have identified that we think would be a good area to build a solar farm. We use Model Builder in ArcGIS Pro to create a model, and then we use the geoprocessing widget in Web App Builder to use that tool. It provides a tool to our users that would allow them to adequately assess the usefulness of a site before doing the footwork of talking to landowners. This saves us a lot of time and energy. The second tool is our Solarcalc widget. This widget is a completely customized widget that we built with ArcGIS JavaScript API. We use custom script in the background that allows us to calculate the maximum DC and AC capacities and the yield of a specific targeted area. This gives us a preview of the money that we will make essentially on a specific area and what the outputs would be in the long term. So with that, I'm going to get to our demo. So this is our solar prospecting web app builder app that we've built in ArcGIS portal. This is a very simple out-of-the-box solution where we have some out-of-the-box tools, including an analysis tool that's going to allow our users to export data. It's also going to show the layer list where we can turn layers on and off, and a legend and allow them to add new data. We also have a select tool and a measurement tool. And then we have our two custom tools, our Buildable Area tool and our Solarcalc tool. What I'm going to do is turn on some layers here. And what we want to do when we are prospecting for a solar site is we want to try to find a site that is close to a substation and close to transmission lines. So for this site, I've turned on my parcels. I also want to try to find parcels that are large enough to where maybe we only have to talk to one landowner, or maybe just a couple of landowners. So let's just say that I think that this area over here might be a good area to build a solar farm. You can see I've already been kind of looking at these areas down here, but maybe I want to go out a little bit more and look at this area over here. Go ahead and turn those off. And let's turn on our Buildable Area widget, which, as I said, is a geoprocessing widget that we have put in a model builder geoprocessing tool. I am just going to select a square. I'm going to highlight an area here. And then I'm going to push run. So while that's running, we'll just go ahead and take a look at some of these other areas that I already have. What this tool is going to do is it clips out all of the constraints that are not good areas for building a solar farm. Now our wind farm areas are going to have different constraints, so this Buildable Area tool would clip out different things. If I increase my setbacks and my constraints over here, we'll see I have roads and flow lines, pipelines, transmission lines, wetlands, and things like that in my constraints. And I also have certain setbacks that are specific to solar setbacks. And that is what this tool is doing, is it's clipping all of those things out. So you can see that my output, if I turn on my flow lines, it should turn everything on, and we'll be able to do a little bit further of an assessment of exactly which constraints were taken out of this clip. So we can see the majority of it here are flow lines. It looks like we might have some pipelines in there also. And then we have some wetlands. So that is the crux of what that tool does, which is extremely useful for our developers as they're trying to really assess a particular area. And if we even want to spend the time to go out and talk to this landowner, if they had way too many constraints on their property, then it probably wouldn't even be worth talking to that land agent or that landowner. The second tool I'd like to discuss today is our Solarcalc widget. So this widget is actually a custom widget that we use the Esri JavaScript API to create. This tool is going to help us to decide where the most energy comes from in a solar farm. So I'm going to turn off a couple of these layers over here so we get a little bit clearer view. And what we are left with here is this buildable area that we just created. Now with the Solarcalc widget, we can come in here and kind of choose what type of solar we're going to be installing. And we can maybe do this a few different times with different types of defaults to see what the energy output is going to be of each different type of solar that we deploy here. If I choose this thin film standard, it's going to give us and tell us what module and inverter it's using, and the bifacial is going to change a little bit and just kind of give us the specifications of that specific type of solar. We might come in here and define an azimuth. And then that will change. We could also type into here if we have a specific azimuth that we need to meet. And then from here, we can choose a buildable area, and we can include as much of this as we want. And we can also, in addition, we can either leave it like that, or we can draw an additional area. Maybe we need to add this area into it. Once we have defined what our buildable area is going to be, we'll push this Generate Design button. Now, while that's working, I'll just show you here that it does go ahead and calculate the acreage that we're doing the buildable area on. And we can delete, certain acreages if we need to do that. So when that tool is done, you can see that it filled out all of our buildable areas with a solar farm. Zoom in here and we can see all of our different rows. Now what's also really nice about this is that after it built it, it's going to calculate our max DC capacity, our yields, our nominal AC capacities, our maximum export capacities. These are numbers that are going to help our developers to decide if this solar farm would make us any money. And that's, of course, really important to know as early as you possibly can before we really get into the process of developing the land and then realize that it's not going to make us any money later in the process. We can also click on any of these and we might delete some of them. And every time we delete some of these, it's going to recalculate those numbers. And this particular solar farm, it's not going to make too big of a difference because it's so big. But at a smaller solar farm, deleting some of those, you would see some of these numbers change. So that is essentially what the Solarcalc widget does, and we can come in and do multiple ones and kind of look at the areas all around and decide upon the best places to target for our solar farms.